Hi, I'm Uncle Dave Lewis, and I'm here to bring you another 78. This is actually a disc from an album set, and it's an album set that you don't see every day. Of course, the image is backwards, but this is Famous Songs, Bert Williams, and it was issued in 1940. But the recordings inside were made between 1918 and 1921. Now you're looking at this image and you're thinking, oh, lovely, Uncle Dave has decided to share some Jim Crow type entertainment. But Bert Williams wasn't like that. His work, his uniform here was a convention of the entertainment of the day. But the work itself, like modern comics, tended to poke fun at politics, religion, and science. He dealt a lot with metaphysical matters, and he dealt with serious subjects in a humorous way. Some kid has put pen marks all down his vest and colored in his lips. Thanks a lot. On the inside, here's a picture of Bert in his street clothes, recording before the recording horn. And in fact, it states on the booklet how these records were made. Bert Williams in a recording session sometime in the early 20s. As the small end of the recording horn was at the small end of the recording horn was a French plate glass diaphragm, to which was attached a stylus lever supporting a recording jewel. This put the vibrations of Bert's voice into a disc of soft wax previously heated so that it would take clear impressions of the lateral movements of the cutting jewel. After the wax cooled, it was dusted with graphite and inserted in an electroplating bath of copper sulfate. This process formed the original copper masters. These songs have been re-recorded from the original masters unearthed in the files of the Columbia Recording Corporation. And I wanted to say that in 1940, the technology they would have had to transfer these to what would have been by that time a modern 78 was to, they had a way of playing back the copper master, and then they would play it back into a 16-inch disc, and then they would make the master for this record from the 16-inch disc. So this pressing is 3 generations away from the original, but oddly enough, they did a really good job. It sounds just fine to my ears for a record made in 1918, transferred to a record made in 1940. And I've always been interested in reissue 78s. It's not a field that a lot of collectors find attractive, but I find them interesting, and we'll probably hear more of them as time goes on. What I have chosen is from the set is a disc called "Oh Death, Where Is Thy Sting," recorded in 1918. And let's give it a spin.
Parson Brown one Sunday morning was given good advice. He warned his congregation to refrain from sin and vice. He drew a fire picture about the devil down below and said, folks, quit your sinning, or to him you're bound to go. Why, hell is full of vampire women. Well, whiskey, gin, and dice. Satan, tell him to get behind thee and prepare thou for paradise. Mose Jackson jumped up from his chair and said, Parson, is that true? That hell is full of what you said? Well then just let me say to you, if what you say is positive truth, oh, death, where is thy sting? I don't care now about no pearly gates, or to hear the angels sing. With booze and women down below, Mr. Devil and I will just put on a show. Because if what you say is the positive truth, oh, death, where is thy sting? If what you say is the positive truth, oh, death, where is thy sting? I don't care about the pearly gates or to hear the angels sing. With booze and women down below, the devil and I just gonna put on some show. If what you say is the positive truth, oh, death, where is thy sting?
One word about the accompaniments. Bert Williams' recording career ran from 1901 all the way up to 1922, the year that he died. And he did a little recording for Victor early on, but most of the work he did was for Columbia. And incidentally, it would have been a different Columbia company than the one that issued these records. And the band leader, Charlie Prince, hated making Bert Williams records because of the way that Bert timed his routines. Prince had a hard time following the pattern with the music, and often making these records involved a lot of takes because the band and the vocalist would get out of sync. I find his comic timing to be close to perfect. So it was Charlie Prince's problem and not Bert Williams. And Prince himself had considerable experience accompanying comics. So that's one little conflict in the story of the making of these records. I should mention that the Archaeophone label has made most, if not all, of Bert Williams' many records available on CD, so they may be savored for their great qualities today. But I hope that you enjoyed hearing this from this 1940 reissue 78, and it shows that at least that Bert Williams was still pretty well remembered within a generation after his death. I'm Uncle Dave Lewis, and thank you for joining me.